And hello YouTube, GSmaniamsmart here, and in today's video we're going to go over the most recent Guild Wars 2 patch, everything regarding the new World vs. World rewards, some specifics on that, the new World vs. World changes, some of the really cool PvP changes that are coming up that they've released as well, a lot of cool stuff in today's video, and a really awesome patch that hit today. That's coming up next. Hey everybody, GSmaniamsmart here. Today we're on our brand new video for Gaming with GS, and glad to have you for another video. Welcome back to another video. If you have been new to the channel, haven't been new to any of my content, I want to welcome you as well, and I encourage you to subscribe to the channel. Plenty of other Guild Wars 2 videos on the channel, plenty more to come as well. We do patch summaries, story recaps, gold guides, gameplay guides, dungeon guides, class guides, all kinds of cool stuff on the channel regarding Guild Wars 2 and gaming. So if you're interested, go ahead and hit that subscribe button as well as that post notification bell so you can stay up to date with all the most recent videos. Alright, so June 6th is finally here. ArenaNet has released their first part of their 2017 competitive feature pack, releasing all the World vs. World content, and I gotta tell you, this is probably one of the best patches we've ever had, mainly because World vs. World has always been in the state. A lot of people felt like it's been dying, no one's been paying attention to it, but this really shows that they've put a lot of time into it, and we've gotten a lot out of this patch for World vs. World. We'll go over the specifics in just a second. One of the more minor patch notes that I want to go over real quick at the start of the video. By the way, we do have timestamps today in the description, so if you don't care about World vs. World, which I think you should care about because a lot of cool stuff is happening in it, you could skip to the PvP section. If you don't care about that, then you can skip to the end where we talk about a few of the gem store stuff, but I encourage you to watch the entire video. Lots of cool stuff, and if you're not interested in some of the game modes, maybe this will pique your interest just a little bit. So one of the more minor patch notes is that Lake Doric AFK farming has finally been fixed. ArenaNet made a creative little post about the centaurs and how a trebuchet is now guarding their stronghold. So I thought that was pretty creative, and it's a great solution for NG turret farmers who are AFK or botting. So that fix has been implemented, and they're telling us that they'll continue to keep an eye in that area, and they'll continue to look at other parts of the game and other areas to try and fight AFK farming or botting and that sort of thing. So basically unnatural gameplay. So that's just one of the minor notes that I wanted to get out before we go into all the really awesome stuff. So the World vs. World part of the competitive feature pack is live. However, if you want to learn more about the competitive feature pack, we have a whole video dedicated to what will be included in the competitive feature pack regarding World vs. World, regarding PvP, regarding the PvP Season 7, in a more general format. I'll leave a link to that video on the screen right now, as well as a link in the description. However, I think we'll pretty much go over most of it in this video as well. So starting off with World vs. World, we have a brand new skirmish UI, and I gotta tell you, this new skirmish UI looks really well done. I'm really liking it. It looks very clean, it has just enough detail, and it's very informative as well. It tells you when you'll start earning pips, it tells you if you're not gonna earn any pips because you don't have tier 3 participation yet, it tells you how many pips you're gonna earn in the next tick, how many pips you've earned already throughout the entire match, throughout the entire time you've been playing. So really cool and informative piece of information, this new UI, and I'm really liking it. And obviously you do have your progression track, how many pips you have to go, and the rewards that you get, very similar to the PvP UI that we have, but just a bit more detail in it. So really well done on that, and I think this is really going to help people get into it a bit more and really keep track of how much more they have to earn for that next reward and keep them playing World vs. World. Now, we did go over World vs. World and the specifics on, you know, how you'll earn pips and whatnot in the last video, so I won't go over too many specifics, but pips are the main new thing for World vs. World. This is how you'll progress through the reward track, by earning pips, and you have to have a tier 3 participation in your World vs. World map to actually begin to earn pips. As you earn pips, you'll progress through the track, and the more pips you earn, the more progression you go through the track. You'll begin unlocking the chests at the very end of the track, which will give you different types of rewards. One of the most important rewards being the new skirmish tickets, which are replacing tournament tickets. And these tickets are very important because they'll basically be your main currency for unlocking a lot of, pretty much almost all the new rewards that they've included. However, the way you earn pips are depending on your World vs. World rank, depending on your position during the skirmish, if you're first, second, or third, whether you're commanding a squad of 5 or more people, whether you're playing on a server for more than 3 weeks, and whether you are playing while being outnumbered or not. All those factors will determine how many pips you get. Now, I've heard and I've read that you can gain up to 16 pips, so I'm glad to see that commanding only gives you 1 extra pip. I thought they might give you a few more and that would cause a problem. Some people may want to command because you get like 5 extra pips, but they've only made it by 1 extra pip. Now, like I said, as you cross divisions, as you cross tiers through this little reward track that you have in the new skirmish UI through earning pips, you'll be able to earn tickets, and with these tickets you'll be able to buy stuff from the new claim tickets vendor. Now, this new vendor that we got is pretty cool because there's a ton of things for you to buy. There's the tier 2 Ascended Triumphant Heroes armor, which will require you to have obviously tickets, but it will also require you to have bought or gained or acquired the tier 1 Triumphant armor. The tier 1 Triumphant armor you're able to get through the Triumphant armor reward track. So if you do World vs. World, make sure you activate that reward track. Once you finish the reward track several times and you have all the pieces of the armor, you'll be able to buy the tier 2 Ascended Triumphant Heroes armor. Now, be aware, with the requirement of tickets, it also requires you to make a Grandmaster's mark. So just like we thought it would require you to do so, just like in PvP, you're still going to need to do the crafting, a small amount of crafting to get these Ascended gear pieces. You'll need to create and craft a Grandmaster's mark, just like in PvP, which we all saw coming anyway. So then the tier 3 armor, which is the Mistforged Triumphant Heroes armor, that's the highest tier, and I gotta tell you, these Triumphant armor sets look really cool. They look almost just as cool as legendary armor. Some people are saying they even like this armor more than legendary armor. So really good to see that the person who designed this did a really good job at it. However, if you want to get the tier 3 Triumphant armor, it requires you to have the tier 1 and the tier 2 armor, so it's going to require you to do a bit of work to get all this until you can get to tier 3. It's going to require a lot of hours, and also is going to require you to have a World vs. World rank of 1,500. So if you're not even anywhere near that, it's going to be a long time before you can even get this tier 3 Ascended armor, which I'm glad, because Ascended armor is something that should have that should require a lot of effort. If you don't want to go through the daily process, which takes about a month or so to craft your Ascended armor by crafting and by putting that dedication in every day, then you're gonna do it either through PvP, which will also require a good amount of dedication because you have to go through the entire track and get all the chests several times, or you'll have to play a lot of World vs. World, which requires just as much dedication to get to rank 1,500 in order to get this tier 3 Ascended Mistforged Triumphant Heroes armor. Now, why does it seem like this is a bit more expensive than the PvP armor? Because it kind of is, and the main reason why is because it requires no crafting. You don't need to craft that Grandmaster's mark. It requires no crafting at all. All it requires are tickets and memory of battle currency. So this is actually a really cool way to buy Ascended armor for some of your alt characters. If you happen to be someone who World vs. World a lot and you have that rank of 1,500, since that rank is account bound and account wide, if you happen to have enough tickets, you can actually get Ascended armor fairly easy if you have enough of the currency without having to craft ever again, basically. So it's a really cool way to get Ascended armor. It's a really cool alternative. So I'm glad that that's there. However, it does require a lot of time investment, because to get to rank 1,500, that's already a pretty big accomplishment and a pretty big goal. I'm not even anywhere near to that, and I only know a few people that are even past that. So really good job on that rank requirement. It's gonna take some time. Along with that, this new vendor also sells some exotic gear, and it sells some packs of siege, food, tricks, traps, and some other things, including another consumer as well. So this consumer takes another World vs. World currency, just like all the other consumers we have, and it gives you some random gear that you can salvage. You can use it several times every day. And I'm really glad that they added these packs of siege, food, tricks, traps, and these different packs that are related to World vs. World, because it gives new players especially the chance to take a look at some of these packs, see how things work, and it sort of exposes them to all the things that are related to World vs. World and all the things that you're going to be using while playing World vs. World. I know some people who play World vs. World and they don't even use their supplies. They don't even know what siege is. So it's good to see that there's a vendor right in front of you as soon as you enter the lobby, and he does offer some some siege and some tricks and traps and some food that can be important for World vs. World and is important. We also have a new match history tab, which I was looking forward to, as you can recall from the last video we did, and I'm very satisfied with it. I wish we got some graphs and charts maybe to accompany the data, but nonetheless, I'm really interested in the stats that we have there. It does show you the amount of kills, the amount of deaths, the amount of points, so you get a lot of numbers there for each skirmish, and you can see how many kills each server has. That's really cool. I really like that. I wish there was some graphs and charts. I think that would make it a bit easier to read the data, but maybe that's coming up in the future. The new LFG system, which was improved that we talked about last video, also now has really been improved by the fact that you'll be able to join squads and parties as soon as you enter the lobby. There'll be a little pop-up window that pops up on the left side of your screen, and it will encourage you to join a party or squad. It also encourages people to tag up as a commander, and it really adds a new way of joining parties. Rather than going into the LFG, you can very easily do it just by opening your squad menu, and you can join parties or squads there with potentially less keyboard strokes and less clicking. So I think it's also a really good thing to have for people who are new to World vs. World. If you're just coming in now and you feel like you don't know where to go, now you have very easy access to joining a party or a squad very easily through this new little side pop-up menu that will pop up when you enter World vs. World. It's worth mentioning also that you can disable this feature in your options by disabling it from popping up whenever you enter the lobby. So if you don't like that is popping up always, you can always disable that. And lastly, for World vs. World, we obviously have the new legendary backpack, and there's a new legendary backpack vendor as well, where you can start creating the Warbringer legendary backpack. Now it's very similar to the PvP back piece. There are some essences that you need to put into the Mystic Forge, obviously for the last piece of the backpack that you'll create to make it legendary. There are 4 tiers, just like the PvP backpack had 4 tiers. And it requires a certain amount of currency with these new skirmish claim tickets that they've introduced in this patch that are replacing the tournament tickets. Now it does require quite a few tickets to buy the very first tier only. It's going to require you to have 350 tickets. So it's going to take a while to get this legendary back piece, because not only do you need to have a bunch of tickets, you also need to be level 350 to get the very last tier. So you might be level 350, but you may not have all these tickets. You'll probably have to go through the reward track many times to accumulate all these tickets. And from my understanding and from what I've seen so far, for the very first chest that you complete, you only get 10 tickets. So I imagine it can't be much higher for the following chests. Maybe you only get 10 tickets each time. The fact that you have the chance to get 16 pips per tick, it would make sense that, it'll be 10 tickets every chest completion. Maybe it increases a bit after you complete a few divisions and tiers, just like in PvP with the Ascended Shards of Glory. Nonetheless, though, it's going to require you to put a lot of time into World vs. World. And that's one thing that I like about this patch, is that it does introduce a lot of new rewards. It introduces some Ascended gear, and introduces a new legendary backpack. It introduces a lot of new things to go for, but it's not super easy. You're going to have to put the time into it. You're going to need to have a pretty high World vs. World rank, and you're going to need to have a bunch of this new currency. So it's really good to see that this isn't just content that's been added into the game, and a good quarter or half of the population in Guild Wars 2 can already acquire all these rewards. It's good to see that these are new rewards that everyone has to work from basically zero, not completely zero, because if you're War vs. World rank 1000, you have a pretty huge edge on everyone else, but you still have to start from zero with these claim tickets. So I really like that about these new rewards that they've included into this patch. So those are basically all the War vs. World change. Now let's go and jump into PvP. There were a few things mentioned in PvP. The new Season 7 will be starting on June 13th. I imagine they'll have a mini patch announcing the season, and maybe they'll put a few other patch notes in. I think they're also, maybe they'll do another balance patch. I don't think so though, because they did a balance patch recently, so I don't think they're going to do another one. Season 7 starts June 13th. They're also going to be adding a new mini Princess Llama to the end of the very last chest from the reward track. When I say reward track, I mean the reward track that's required by pips. It's kind of weird how now we have two reward tracks, one that you can pick from and one with pips. But they're going to add a new llama mini. It seems like every new season they're introducing a new mini so that when you get to the very last chest, you can collect all these minis, I'm assuming. So I guess that's cool if you like collecting minis. They've also revised the last chest. Not only do you get to get this new mini, but they've also given you a choice of a Grandmaster's mark in the last 3 chests that you get for the last 3 little reward tracks. So this is actually really good, because if you happen to acquire these last 3 chests in each of the last 3 little divisions, then you'll be able to get up to 3 Grandmaster marks. So if you happen to PvP enough, then you may not even have to do much crafting. Your crafting is reduced because you'll be able to get some of these marks that you would usually have to craft through the reward track. So I'm glad to see that's there. It gives people another way to acquire these marks rather than having to craft them, because some people really don't like crafting. So now there's another way you can get at least a percentage of the total amount of marks you need. So you can get some of them through the reward track through pips. Interestingly enough, they've also changed the amount of ascended shards of glory for each chest as well, which I think they weren't going to do, because they originally gave you a ton of them at the very beginning when they first released it. Then they reduced it massively, and now I guess they've sort of found an even ground. They've increased the amount of shards of glory you get pretty much not across the entire board. For the very first one you only get 25, but after that you pretty much get up to 75, then the very last one gives you 100. So overall you can get more ascended shards of glory now than you would have been able to get last season, which I think is great because it allows you to get ascended armor in a more affordable way. So that's a good new change that they've made. And the other thing they've changed also are the ratings to get into each PvP tier. So you know how there's bronze, silver, platinum, gold, legendary, diamond, all those little tiers and rankings. Well, each of these rankings and each of these tiers in the league, they have a specific rating. They have a minimum rating and they have a maximum rating. If your character wins enough matches and gains a rating past the maximum rating of a specific tier, you get boosted into the next tier. So originally, I think bronze was like from 0 to 1050 or something like that. Well, apparently they've reduced all the ratings now. So it's kind of different. It should be easier to get into some of the tiers. I think bronze is now only from 0 to like 800 and something, so a pretty significant drop. Now it should be easier to rank, or at least it will require a lower rating to rank to higher tiers. In fact, I took a look at last season's rankings and ratings and compared it to season 7's ratings, and I would have been in platinum last season if we were to take into account these new ratings that they'll be implementing in season 7 of PvP. So it might be easier for you to climb the ladder now. It may not seem too difficult if you thought it was too difficult, and if you were stuck in bronze for a very long time, which a couple of my friends have been. Ascended salvaging tools have also gotten their cost reduced. It will require less PvP tickets, which is good because you do get ascended gear in PvP, and if you want to salvage that, you need an ascended salvaging kit. So now the cost for these ascended salvaging kits has been reduced. Moving on to some of the PvP maps, and this is really good news. Eternal Coliseum got a visual update, but the really cool news is that now Eternal Coliseum and Revenge of the Capricorn will both be added to ranked play. It's been a while now since these two maps have been in beta, and I'm really pleased with this change because those two maps are some of my favorite maps, mainly because not only is it a fresh map and it's a new map and it's a bit more fun to play, but Eternal Coliseum specifically has this cool additional mechanic behind it that can really change the game. And I've been waiting and waiting for these maps to get put into ranked. They've been in beta for quite a while now, and finally these two maps have been added to ranked play. Now people won't be spamming Foe Fire anymore or Forest and Niflhel. Those two maps are literally the most popular ones, and I noticed that when you play regular non-ranked play, a lot of people pick Revenge of the Capricorn and Eternal Coliseum. So it's good to see we got some more maps in ranked play now, and it'll add some more map diversity when you're playing ranked. And that pretty much covers all of the PvP news and the new updates that will be coming June 13th. Now I'm going to go over a few of the gem store things and a few of the more general patch notes. There's not a lot here really, it's just a few things. There's a new magic carpet glider, which I gotta say looks pretty cool. I don't think I'm going to be getting it though. I'm pretty satisfied with the glider that I have right now. Plus I have a magic carpet toy, so I'm fine with that. Apparently there's also going to be new dye kits available every day for the next 2 weeks. So every day a new dye kit will be available in the gem store for you to buy. So if you're missing some dyes or if you're collecting dyes, then watch the gem store because there'll be new dye kits. There's 6 new eye colors added to the makeover kit, so I see they're constantly updating that as well, which is great if you like using the total makeover kit. It seems like this is constantly being updated and a ton of things are always being added, new hairstyles, new eye colors, all kinds of cool stuff. So really happy to see that they're continuously updating that. And one of the newer things that we had in the game recently this year is the guaranteed wardrobe unlock, and well, that item has now also been increased in the amount of items that you can get from it. They've added over 700 new wardrobe items to the guaranteed wardrobe unlock item. If you don't know what this is an item that you can get from the Black Lion chests. It's a pretty cool item, and it basically looks at your account, it looks at your character, it sees what skins you don't have yet on your account, and whatever skins you don't have, it's basically like a lottery of all the skins you don't have, and it gives you one random skin of the skins you don't have. Well, now there's 700 more things added to this. A lot of them are gem store stuff, cultural armor, and some karma stuff as well. So you may want to check your guaranteed wardrobe unlock to make sure you have all the easy items unlocked. That way when you get one of these items, it'll be worth your while because you'll get an item that's really hard to get, or that costs a lot, or that you've never even seen before. So, or it might be a gem item, even better, it might be a gem item and you wouldn't have to pay anything. Interestingly enough, when this got released on patch today, one of the Hellfire items, and the Hellfire item set is basically achievement bound. So when you get to a certain amount of achievement points, you can get the Radiant and the Hellfire skins. Apparently one of the Hellfire skins was accidentally added to the guaranteed wardrobe unlock, so that was in there for a little bit. I think I saw someone actually get it when they opened it, so someone got it before they even reached the achievement point value requirement, so that was a bit weird and strange why they would do that. It was a bug and they fixed it, they took that out. But overall, I'm glad they did this because now we have a ton more skins to get from our guaranteed wardrobe unlock, and a lot of them are gem store specific, so heck, free stuff without having to pay, even though technically you do have to pay because you need to get Black Lion chests, but you know, you still save a bit if you happen to get one of the items. And lastly, data mining from that shaman has also shown us that there's going to be full fire armor, and what that means, I don't know. Will it be a new gem store item? Will it be some type of item or armor relating to the full fire map? Or does it mean we're going to Ascalon in episode 6 for Living World Season 3? No idea, but that came from data mining, so who knows what this could mean. It might just be a gem store item, because I think sometime earlier this month there was also data mining found of a new greatsword skin, and everyone thought it was a new legendary, but in reality it was a new gem store item. So I think this is also going to be a gem store item. I don't think it has anything to do with the living world. But I will say, Ascalon does seem like the place to go for episode 6, because that's the only map we haven't gone to in this Living World Season 3. And the fact that we might be going to the Crystal Desert even for the next expansion, Ascalon's very close to it, so that might be the next map. Anyway, that's pretty much covering all the new patch notes that we've had today. That pretty much gives you a good summary and recap of the patch today. Hopefully you're enjoying it. If you haven't played it yet, go and play it. Really fun to play World vs. World now. A lot of people are playing it, and even though there are some people raging because a lot of PvEers are playing it and ruining it, let's just try to get along. Everyone try to teach each other. Let's learn, and let's just have fun in World vs. World. This is what World vs. World has needed for a long time, and I'm glad they finally included it. By the way, if you happen to be interested in an article, there was an article released by, I think it was MMORPG, that website. The same website that did the interview with two of the Guild Wars 2 developers last week. They made another article today around the World vs. World rewards. They go a bit more in detail and go over the specifics on how you can earn pips. They talk about World vs. World builds. So if you're a new player to Guild Wars 2, if you're new to World vs. World, I highly encourage you to read that article because it can be a good read to get you to be familiar with the game mode and to give you some tips and tricks that you might want to consider before entering the game mode, especially that section about the build, because that can be very important. World vs. World builds are not the same as PvE or raid builds. You're going to need different gear. So I encourage you to read that if you have the time or if you're interested. I'll leave the link in the description. So that covers everything. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, go ahead and leave a like. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, go and subscribe. Would love to have you on board on the channel here. If you want to talk about anything, the comment section is where you want to be. Any questions, suggestions, feedback, anything you're excited about for this patch, go and leave a comment down below. I'll be down there answering and talking to you guys as usual. And if you want to check out my most recent video, click the annotation here. You want to check out another video similar to this one, click the annotation here. Want to subscribe to my tutorial or vlogging or my other channels, click the annotation here. And if you want to donate $1 to my Patreon page, you can click the annotation here. That's pretty much it, guys. Thank you for watching. As always, this is GSmaniamsmart, and I'll be back sooner than you think. Don't go anywhere.